Hurry into the Wrap Up the Year sales event at your local Ram dealer for great deals on the trucks that give you all the power you need and all the luxury you could ask for. Now get 10% below MSRP for an average of $6,219 under MSRP on the purchase of a 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Not compatible with lease offers or with any other consumer incentive offers. $6,219 average based on 10% below average MSRP from all 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab models in dealer stock. Residency restrictions apply. Take retail delivery from dealer stock by 1/2/24.
Paid actor portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethoslife.com/audio. That's ethoslife.com/audio.
So with he's not going to do a live painting. It doesn't require that. But when you're submitting the evidence, there's a slot where you have to show media coverage, his social media handles, so that when they go there, they'll see how he creates the paintings and all of that. So yes, he is supposed to participate in an exhibition and sell the works. If he doesn't sell the work, he's not qualifying for that record.
Okay, well, so it means that we should come around and patronize some of Ace works. Do we have some behind the scenes videos of him painting, or actually like starting a painting and pulling through to the end, where people can actually say that, okay, so this is Liam. I have been a witness seeing him paint. He's not done yet. He's still in his elements right now. But do you think we would get those kind of like works, like videos and all that of Ace trying to paint?
I have actually posted all of his behind the scenes on his social media handle, which is at Ace_Liam_paints. So ACE_LIAM_paints. So all the behind the scenes are there. Every single painting. So far he's done 12 paintings, including this 13. So all the behind the scenes will be there.
Okay.
From 6 months up until now.
6 months old. That was when he started painting.
Bigger works are when he was younger. The more he grows, I think I'm able to accommodate him on a smaller canvas. But when he was younger, it's more like body movements and spreading the paint. So the canvas size are as big as the floor.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Wow, that is interesting. Now, Ace wants to paint the whole of my body right now. But what has been, has he started selling any of his paintings yet?
So I had a few people reach out before the exhibition to want to buy his works. But the thing is, if I sell the work, I wouldn't get the receipts from the exhibition to prove the record title. So I asked them to wait. So most of the sales will be done. I haven't sold any of his paintings prior to the exhibition, yes.
Okay, so with the exhibition, let's come to the exhibition. What should patrons expect? How long is it going to last?
Okay, so the exhibition is the Sound Out Premier Exhibition happening at the Museum of Science and Technology from the 15th of December to 21st of January 2024.
Every single day?
Every single day. But then on the 15th, which is tomorrow, Friday, the opening is specifically from 5 to 8 p.m. That is where we are going to be introduced to the artist and everything. So that day is when he's making his record attempt so that it's official. But then for the rest of the month and then the continuing days, you can still pass by. His works will still be exhibited. And you can come with your kids, let them check out his paintings, come in your numbers to support.
When I first entered here, I thought it was a school because it has all these chairs. So I thought like, oh, students are supposed to be here. Is it a school? Do you teach and all that?
So Art and Cocktail Studio is a sip and paint company. People coming around to have fun and experience painting. So that's what we do at Art and Cocktail Studio. That is why we have tables and chairs there.
It looks like Ace wants to paint everywhere. He paints everywhere. How do you deal with this? He's painting everywhere. He wants to paint my skin. He wants to paint my dress. He wants to paint everywhere. How do you deal with this?
Oh my God. So on a normal day, he doesn't do this. I'm actually surprised with what he's doing.
Does Ace paint in school?
So today is actually our day, so I need to go and take his books or his exam. Oh wow, you have painted.
Oh, he's painting the Joy News microphone.
I need to go and take his books, but I think one time I saw like palm printing, so the teachers are teaching them the basics too. So I feel like he's in a more controlled environment in school when he's painting, but here I just let him be when he's here.
All right, so just as we've heard from Ace's mother, the Guinness World Record Challenge for the world's youngest artist is kickstarting tomorrow at the Museum of Science and Technology. So we should all be there in our numbers to support him. Just as we always say, we are trying to put Ghana on the map. And we've had a couple of people trying to do challenges. Just as we've seen a lot of people trying to do that. It's a big win for Ghana when we support each other. So I'm expecting to see you all at the exhibition, which runs through from tomorrow through till January 21st. For Joy News, I am Jacqueline Ansoma Iyoboa.
And it's 3 p.m. here in Accra. Here on the polls, we're talking about the Ghana Revenue Authority defending the Strategic Mobilization Limited, insisting that the company saved the state more than 3 billion cedis. We have details as the Fourth Estate dares SML to publish their contracts with the Finance Ministry, coupled with their earnings if they cast doubt on details of their documentary titled The $3 Billion Lie. Of course, billion cedis lie. We'll get you details on that as, of course, the Ghana Revenue Authorities this afternoon putting out a statement on the matter. Also, district-level elections and more is happening. The exercise is ending with the Electoral Commission, of course, focusing on areas in the areas or East Mamprosi municipality of the Northeast region, where the exercise is expected to take off, and also other parts in the coming days. We'll tell you more as we engage the Electoral Commission. Also, nominees to the Supreme Court, Justice Henry Anthony Kofi is refuting claims President Akufo-Addo has backed the Supreme Court with NPP-aligned charges.
The 15th is clearly, as far as I'm concerned, I don't understand what is meant by packing. But it's not packing. There are, as of now, the three that you are talking about, they have retired.
All coming your way here on The Pulse. The Pulse is always brought to you by Global Communities, Dignity, Low, Affordable, Safe Sanitation. We're on DSTV, channel 421, GoTV, channel 125. This is The Pulse. I'm blessed to join you. This is independent, fearless, and credible. We'll get you details shortly.
turn to Ghana, which is selling the longest day.
And we start with the district level elections, which has just ended inconclusively in some electoral areas in the East Mamprusi municipality of the Northeast region. The elections was announced in the Langbasi area after unidentified individuals snatched and destroyed 2 ballot boxes. The unidentified individuals also launched violent attacks on some of the voters, leading to the injury of 3 persons, as we're learning, in Boku electoral area. Fighting broke out between supporters of the aspirants. 1 person was injured and hospitalized this morning. 3 aspirants within the areas affected have massed up at the office of the Electoral Commission demanding some fresh elections to take place in the area. Ilyasu Tanko is our man on the grounds, joining us now with more on this. Ilyasu, let's get to the details of what's happening in the area. What can you report? Ilyasu?
Well, like you said, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
So, like you said, in the Langbasi electoral area, we understand yesterday the election ended inconclusively. This morning, we have aspirants from that particular electoral area currently at the EC office in the East Mamprusi municipality, making some demands, including the rerun of this particular election. According to this disgruntled contestants, that during the voting, some individuals invaded the police station and took control or took away 2 ballot boxes. One was completely destroyed, and the ballots inside were torn. One of the ballot boxes was also taken to an unknown location. We understand the police was able to intervene and retrieve these 2 ballot boxes. Now the contestants are rejecting the quality of this particular ballot boxes, so they are demanding a rerun of this particular election in the Langbasi.
So in terms of the security arrangements now, what's happening, and has the EC made any pronouncement?
In the Boko electoral area, we understand that.
Yeah, I'm just asking about the current security situation now, and if there's any pronouncements by the Electoral Commission now on what might happen in terms of the calls for a rerun of that exercise. We seem to have a challenge connecting with Ilyasu there, but some areas within the Mamprusi municipality experiencing challenges in terms of the district level elections, violence erupting in some parts of that community as well, raising concerns, and lots of people, we understand, have massed up at the EC outlets there, asking for a rerun of the election. As to why that's the case, of course, Ilyasu bringing us up to speed. We'll reconnect with him shortly just to get a bit more of the answers, and then try as much as possible to get through to the EC as well for some explanation on what's happening. We'll get all of that and more for you shortly. Please stay with us. And of course, For those of you who are wondering what's happening in the area, we do know that this is a twin situation happening up north. The reason for which we're still learning of the fine details that are just coming through to us. Elias Tanko there giving us a bit of an update. We'll reconnect with him shortly and bring you some updates. Please stay.
Still on monitoring the electoral processes in this year's district-level election, we've moved from Ga Central to Ga North, where we're catching up with Dr. John Halm, who is the parliamentary candidate-elect on the NDC ticket for this constituency. Honorable, thank you for joining us for a brief conversation.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to know, in your perspective, what have you observed so far, and what do you think about the electoral processes since morning?
Well, it's very good. So far, so good. A few places that I visited this morning, the exercise is going on smoothly. One or two things has been observed. That is, the turnouts at certain places are quite a bit low. But coming to Pokuase electoral area, I realize the turnout is much appreciable.
We know that the NDC is not particularly excited about the not using the indelible ink as we've done for years now. And what do you think? Because some of the officials have told us that they've not had any problems yet with the software. What do you think, or what have you observed, in your opinion, the processes without the indelible ink?
Well, it's not the traditional thing we know of our election processes in Ghana. So it's quite a new thing, which I think is not the best for us. What about, I think it's a recipe for any disaster.
Let's get more on the telephone lines now and, of course, get some updates from the Electoral Commission as they are now about to provide us with some updates on their general assessment of the district-level elections. Dr. Siribo Kweku is Director General of the Director of Electoral Services, I should say, of the Electoral Commission, joining us now. Thank you, sir, for your time. Your own assessment of what's happening so far, reports of violence in some parts of the north. What's the national picture in terms of the reports the EC can render? Dr. Siribo Kweku, I hope you can hear me, sir. Dr. Siribo Kweku, I hope you can hear me now. We'll just reconnect with Dr. Siribo Kweku shortly. But, Doc, of course, we'll be getting more details for you. But joining us now is the Deputy Commissioner of the EC, Dr. Bosman Asare, who's on with us. Thank you, Doc, for spending some time with us. Apologies there, I thought it was Dr. Siribo Kweku. The question about, your assessment of the exercise so far, reports we're hearing from up north and all of that. What's your own, assessment based on the exercise so far?
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, sir.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your viewers. In terms of our assessment concerning what transpired yesterday, all the various regions had a very smooth exercise. It's unfortunate that we couldn't have it in all the districts in the eastern region and some few electoral areas in the Ashanti region. But the reports that came to us last night and this morning are clear indications that the processes were conducted in a very, very professional manner. In some places, the turnout happened to be very high. In some places, too, especially in Greater Accra, it was low. We are just waiting for tomorrow to finish the remaining voting in the electoral areas in the Ashanti region as well as the eastern region, so that we'll be able to come up with the main findings from this exercise. But if what transpired yesterday was anything to go by, everything generally went on very, very well.
The domestic election observers are already raising concerns about the process so far. They say that you have, of course, not delivered what is expected to have been a smooth district-level elections. Of course, national coordinator for the group, Eugene Ahin, Albert Ahin, raising a number of concerns about even the printing of the ballots. So what's the factor accounting for the problems we've witnessed in terms of the issuance of the ballot papers?
I think we've heard several people trying to criticize what transpired yesterday. running elections, especially at the district level elections, is so different. It's more complex. The features are so different from that of the presidential and the parliamentary. With this election, what happens is that you are doing the elections in each electoral area. So you take a place, a particular district, for example, you can have different elections in about 33 areas for the unit committee, as well as another 33 for the assembly. So this is a very, very different one. The commission was strongly of the view that everything must be held on the 19th, but we had some last-minute technical challenges. As a result of that, the ballot papers delayed in some of these areas. So you look at, of the 16 regions, we're able to send the ballot papers to all the districts, all the electoral areas in 14 of them. In Ashanti region, where we have almost 1,087 electoral areas, we're able to have our ballot papers for both the unit and the assembly in almost about 806 of the electoral areas. In the eastern region, although we were able to get the ballot papers for almost 20 of the regions, in some of the regions we had some delays. So the thinking of the commission was that in order to have a level playing field, why don't we postpone it to Thursday? So that's why the rest of the districts are going to have the elections on Thursday.
So is it your assessment that what transpired leading to the subsequent announcement from the EC that you'd have to defer the process has nothing to do with the issuance of the ballot papers?
Because it has nothing to do with what?
With the issuance of the ballot papers, I'm asking.
No, the ballot, as I indicated, in some of the places, the ballot papers delayed. In some of the places, the ballot papers were there around 9:30 a.m. And the thinking of the commission was that once we've announced that the process will begin at 7 a.m., it will be appropriate to give them another opportunity so that all of them will be able to start at 7 a.m. And we noticed that those places too were several. For example, in the eastern region, we were looking at almost about 16 or so districts. In Ashanti region, we're looking at over 200 electoral areas. And just again to clarify, the commission is fully prepared that by tomorrow all of them are going to have their elections.
You don't see, a late an arrangement with the private, company that's printing this as the problem, because CODEO appears to be citing that as part of the challenge, indicating that you contracted these organizations very late in the day, a reason for which we experienced what we experienced.
I'm not getting the question well.
I'm saying that CODEO argues that you contracted the private company that printed this, all the ballot papers, late in the day, a reason for which we cited what happened, leading to the deferment of the process to tomorrow. I'm asking if that's not part of the challenge we have. Hello, sir. And Dr. Osman Asare is the Deputy Commissioner of the Electoral Commission, speaking to us on the exercise we're expecting tomorrow. We'll reconnect with him shortly to get some clarity on that, concerns about the ballots and also what's likely to happen tomorrow. We'll see if we'll have him join us back again. But up north, we are already learning of reports of violence, as Ilyasu Tanko, our reporter there, pointing out, and of course citing some issues that might have been leading to this. Dr. Bosman Asare, if you can hear me, apologies for that. I was just pointing once more to what it is that CODEO appears to cite as a problem, the issue about the contractual arrangements between those who are printing the ballot papers. The claim is that you contracted them late in the day, a reason for which we're seeing what we're seeing.
Know how or where could you got that particular information? But to be frank with you, as I indicated, they've been working with us. They know our timelines, and we also know our timelines when we have to give to them for the time for them to also print. And I pointed out we had some technical challenges. Certain technical challenges are such that once they come up, it will be very, very difficult to overcome. And as an institution, when these things happen, we do learn from it a lot. We don't think it's so fatal because, as I indicated, these are elections that are held at various electoral areas, and you are dealing with you are talking of almost about 12,400 different elections. And the commission has been able to do them in almost 12,000 of them. We have a few more to go. It's unfortunate that we couldn't deliver everything yesterday. But again, we want to assure each and everyone that come tomorrow, all the outstanding districts in the Eastern region and the 200 or so electoral areas in the Ashanti region, they are going to be having their voting tomorrow.
In what ways have you addressed the technical challenge to give the assurance to those who might have to queue up again and to be sure that tomorrow when they show up at the polling stations, there won't be a challenge again?
No, we've addressed them. It's not in my position to say what we've actually done. And I know for the electorate, what they are looking forward to is to have their ballot papers at their various polling stations, and we've been able to do that. So as I indicated again, come tomorrow, once they visit their polling stations, they are going to have their ballots. They will be able to vote from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Some of the political parties already raising concerns about the process. Some MDC MPs pointing out that this is simply a foreshadow of what's likely to happen in the next elections. The fact that you're not prepared to organize the national elections, given what's happening at the district level. Anything to go by?
Oh, I think anyone who believes in that or comes to that particular conclusion doesn't appreciate or doesn't understand the differences between the district level elections and the parliamentary.
The beauty of technology there. We're trying to re-establish the connection with Dr. Bosman Asare, who's providing some updates on what to expect tomorrow. There's also the question as to which areas or perhaps which regions will now be participating in the exercise. We know that parts of the Eastern and Ashanti region. We'll see if we can map out the areas so you're clear on what's happening tomorrow for those of you in the Ashanti and parts of the Eastern region. We'll get all of those details for you shortly, but we're just getting that assurance coming through from the Electoral Commission that the exercise will continue tomorrow. And we've lost Dr. Bosman Asare. You're watching A Pulse with me, Blessed Zunga. We'll be right back. And thanks for staying with us. Let's find out if the connection is better now. Dr. Bosman Asare, apologies there. We lost you briefly while you were making that point. Hello, Doc. We still seem to have some challenges. Dr. Bosman Asare, one more time, if you can hear me. We lost you briefly when you were making that point. Not a favorable day for us, but of course, let's give it a bit more time to see if we can have Dr. Bosman Asare come on. Very pertinent questions, a lot of concerns emerging, in relation to the process, which we'll bring to you shortly. But we could, of course, talk about some more issues happening today, also in Parliament, as we know, and President Akufo-Addo's nominees to the Supreme Court, Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, has been fighting claims that there are too many judges on the Apex Court. Now, the President has nominated a total of some 18 judges to the Supreme Court and has been accused of parking the court with NPP-aligned judges. Answering the question of Hassan Tampoli at the Appointments Committee today, the current Court of Appeal judge opined that the current workload on the highest court does not make the number of judges there too many.
It's a high number. The honourable member has actually set out some of the jurisdictions of the Supreme Court. Very wide jurisdiction. Sometimes people just say, oh, even the US, they have 9. Why do we have 12? Why do we have 15 and 16? We compare different things from different environments, different systems. Last week, and I can say this, I was trying to call a Supreme Court judge on phone. When she eventually picked the call, at 5:30, he said, "My lord, I saw your call, but we've been sitting from 9 o'clock to 4:30. We had 29 cases." That's at the Supreme Court, not a High Court, not at the Court of Appeal. And if you look at the 12 that we have now, there are actually 2 panels, only 5. There are only 2 judges extra left. The Supreme Court sits 5. If they are dealing with a constitutional matter, 7. So with the 12, we actually have only 1 panel, 5 more. So the 15 is clearly, as far as I'm concerned, I don't understand what is meant by packing. But it's not packing. There are, as of now, the 3 that you are talking about, they have retired. And in fact, it's not 3, actually 4 retired. So if you leave the 3 who have retired, you have to fill the vacancy. Otherwise, the current crop of Supreme Court judges, very soon they will start falling off, given the volume of work at the Supreme Court and the jurisdiction. Because every case, and I can say this, every case that starts from the High Court now, about 90% end up at the Supreme Court. Because in our system, we seem to have an open door policy. Every case that starts from the Supreme Court, it could even start from the Circuit Court. District. And then you move all the way to the Supreme Court. My lord, in the US, you can't
The Supreme Court does not preside over trials concerning offences of illegal mining. Justice Kofi says the courts must take some action.
Supreme Court, the question of trial of Galamsey cases doesn't arise because the Supreme Court is not a trial court in that sense. So the Galamsey cases will not come to the Supreme Court. But I agree with you, the havoc being done by Galamsey, and I think that the attitude of the judiciary, where the evidence is produced and the accused persons are found for the judiciary to impose harsh sentences. That one I agree with you entirely. Because of the environmental hazards, the damage, the destruction that are being caused to our environment, to our river bodies, to the farmlands across the country. But the Supreme Court doesn't hear the Galamsey cases as a trial court.
A good time now to cross over to Parliament, where the voting is underway for some more, nominees to the Supreme Court. We have live pictures there.
I should give my brother from Ahafo every support that I can muster to make sure he passes, because it is the first of its kind happening to the people of Ahafo. I can only say that congratulations. The good Lord who has brought you from that place to where you are today, and looking at the wisdom you are espousing before this committee, you are going to make us proud. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I urge colleagues that the nominee before us is a 7 appeal court justice. Very competent, Mr. Speaker. And is capable of delivering on the mandate. On this note, I urge colleagues to minimize the number of questions because we have sat for several hours so that we can make time for other duties. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I think Honorable Eric Opoku must commend the President for the nomination. And so, Speaker, I know the nominee very well. I've practiced before him, and I have no doubt about his competence. Just to say congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
And congratulations, Mr. Nominee.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
As you've witnessed yourselves, we are really, really constrained in how far we can go because our seniors have given you the green light. But I'm just curious, on your CV, place of date of birth, 27th February 1971. So next year you'll be 52, right?
Honorable Chair, I'm 52 at the moment. I'll be 53 in February.
So 53 next year, February. And the retirement age at the Supreme Court is... I'm wondering why he wants to go and spend 18 years sitting at the Supreme Court. Why do you want to sacrifice all your life sitting at the... You know the aura of it. Even when I see you and I say hello, you can't turn. I mean, I know. So why do you want to do that to yourself? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. When I was introducing myself, I indicated that I wanted to build a career on the bench. And I think this is a logical consequence of a decision I took in 2003, 20 years ago. And therefore, by the grace of God, I am prepared for all the contingencies. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Tampuli. Thank you very much. Congratulations, my Lord.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Your CV speaks to someone who is very passionate about admiralty and maritime law and other extant matters related to it. Now, are you familiar with the workings of the Regional Maritime University?
Honorable Chair, I'm not familiar with it. What I know about it is an institution that trains students in maritime law.
Thank you. So going through your CV, I have not seen that you have done any work with them. I think it's important that you cast your attention towards that area and see how you are able to assist the school to grow. It's very important. Currently, I have about 5 people from my constituency undertaking ratings training. I take them every now and again. It's very important that, you help to shape,
The advice is worth taking.
Mr. Chairman, you have to, cage him. He's distracting me.
I say, if you have a lake, you're training people for the sea.
Mr. Chairman, truly, I don't have any lake or river. But the truth of the matter is that a country like Philippines has a lot of seafarers, over 500,000 seafarers around the world. And there are vessels all over the country. There are a lot of, work, in the maritime area. They need barbers, they need cooks, they need cleaners, they need all manner of professionals and so on and so forth. And all of them are trained there. So we give them the nuances of, admiralty law. They are able to, work in those areas. But your CV shows that you have a lot of extra work apart from being a Court of Appeal judge. Chairman this, vice chairman that, and a litany of them. Now, given the jurisdiction and the workload, are you able to you are younger, relatively, but the workload too is heavy. Are you able to combine? You'll give up some.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We must also help the system to work well. And therefore, if, for instance, the Chief Justice thinks that there's an assignment you can discharge to aid the administration of the judiciary, I don't think you need to turn it down. So far, we've been managing it, and I think it's been manageable. Thank you very much.
I wish you well.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Yeah,
thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Nominee, congratulations once more. Honorable Chair, I just also want to...
What you're watching now is the vetting, which is underway for a number of judges being nominated to the Supreme Court. We are listening in and, of course, following some of the questions coming through. and we'll definitely be crossing you over shortly, where, of course, in Parliament that exercise is underway. Of course, we do know that a number of judges have taken their turn, raising a number of concerns even about reforms going forward. We can just listen in to what's happening now.
Come on the bench and congratulate him on the nomination. Clearly, everybody around this table speaks highly of you and your performance. But the whole day we've been concerned about the public perception about the judiciary, the administration of justice, perception of corruption, and etc. But everybody today is saying that you've been an outstanding judge from the lower courts to the High Court up to the Court of Appeal. As a judge, you have control over your court. The prosecution in your court, you have control over them. The accused person, you have control. The plaintiff, the defendants, and your court clerks. How, from your experience, and having done so well and risen so fast, from your experience, how will judges go about changing that negative perception of the judiciary?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I think corruption in the judiciary is a worrying phenomenon, and sometimes I tell myself that, well, there may be pockets of one or two officers here and there, but I think the perception is over-exaggerated, because in my view, when they talk about corruption in the judiciary, they lump everybody who has something to do with the administration of justice into it and brand it as corruption in the judiciary. The police investigators are part of us, the prosecutors are part of us, and all that. And therefore, that is the worrying part. That is not to say that from time to time you will not find a judge misconducting himself or herself. In fact,